Hey, this is Brandon with Lady in the Lineman. So over the past weekend, I gave away a lot of my business cards, which is an awesome thing. I thought it'd be good just to make a quick video in case there's someone else out there interested in making their own business cards. Specifically, these, I think they say they're metal. They sound metal, right? However, whatever they are, they engrave like metal. So you could, if I have my company logo on the front, and then on the back side, I actually generated QR codes to go to the Facebook, Instagram, and then just the basic information. I mean, you could just design it and then send it over to your laser and do one at a time, but it take a really long time. So I generally will make templates for anything I'm gonna make batches of. No. So I'm gonna go sand this. I'm gonna run this through my drum sander. If you don't have a drum sander to make a flat piece of wood, use MDF. MDF is naturally flat, and it, I mean, unless you left it out and got it all wet and warped and whatnot, MDF is like your best friend when it comes to your laser. So get a piece of MDF, and we're gonna do that to it. So I'll be back. Good boy. Yep. Oh, and Scout. Also a good boy. Okay, so now we're in light burn. This is what we're gonna end up going for. So let me show you how to get there. This is a template I'm making just for 9 cards to be made at once. So let me get rid of this and I'll show you how I did that. Do square. Now we're going to change the dimensions here. So they are actually 2.75. Sorry, trying to line this up is a real pain in the butt with the phone. But I'm going to go with like 2.75. I think that's what they were shooting for. And then here, 1.5. Okay, so that is our business card. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to lock it. So now when I change either the width or the height, it actually changes both symmetrically. So I'm going to bring this up just a couple of clicks, and what that is going to be a border. So we can actually see where we're putting the card physically. Hold shift and click the other shape. You can highlight both. And click this little target up at the top. And that's gonna center our piece here. And now we're gonna make this one shape. So to do that, I highlighted both, and then down here you have what's called the weld button. These are your Boolean options. You can subtract, add, all these different things with shape versus shape. So we are just gonna weld them. Now that's one shape. So you can move that around freely. We are gonna move this down, and then we're gonna make a grid out of that shape. So to do that, you can come here to these little square grid. So X columns, Y columns. That's where you're going to decide on how many you want to make in your grid. So I did 3 by 3 in my original, and that worked out pretty well. So we'll do that again. If you bring your mouse over them and roll the wheel, it's moving my spacing. So I'm gonna put them about like that. I don't want my laser to have to move too far between each piece. It has more potential to knock something around, and then also it takes a lot longer. So, but at the same time, I don't want them so close that they're going to be running into each other. So I think that looks good. Sometimes it'll have these be individual shapes, and so if you go to click on one, it'll move that out of its spot, and I don't want that. But it's already grouped. So if it wasn't, and it was something like this, and you accidentally did that, first hit Control Z, that'll undo it, but then select everything, right click, and group it. So I'm gonna put this down. And we're gonna engrave this pattern onto that piece of wood or whatever you're using. Alright, so now you should have a layout for your business cards or whatever you're making a template for. Okay, so now back to Lightburn. So back in Lightburn, now you can use this template to digitally place what you want on your cards. I come down and click one of these template buttons, just so my laser doesn't try and burn that again, and I can choose if I want it to be framed or not. So I have one layer for the front side, and once I'm done doing as many of the cards as I want on the front, unless you're going to do front then back, however you want to do it, but I generally will do all of the fronts and then come back and do all of the back side. So I've done all the front, so I'm good there. Now I'm going to turn this on. If you don't know how to make QR codes for your business or for your page, whatever you're trying to do, let me know. I'll make another video on that too. So now that we have all this where we need it, we can place our material. So move back to the laser. One of the main issues I generally ran into when I was doing batch work is your piece is moving. If you're using aluminum, you're gonna clean them off a little bit anyway. This will be your best friend. So my phone's about to die, so I'm gonna do this off camera, but I'm gonna go in and just put a small dab in the center of each of these little squares before I place my cards. It's gonna seem pretty obvious, but before you place your cards, make sure they're all facing the same direction. I've had multiple times where I've gone through and I've placed them all just to realize that one of them was upside down. So we're gonna be placing these flat. So go through your whole stack and just make sure everything's the right direction. It'll save you a lot of time in the end. Laser's done, but without wiping, that's what you get. I'm just using a microfiber cloth. And if you didn't get like a really good burn and it's not just wiping off, glass cleaner works really well. So these are old work wipes I had. But they work really well, especially for the little bit of residue you might have from that glue. But aside from that, these things are ready to go. So if you do get a good burn and you don't have to use any kind of wet material, these are done. So, sorry, excuse my 3D printer, it's 3D printing things. It sounds like it's about to take off, but it's not. Yeah, so these are done, and they look really good. I'll link these in the I think it's the comment section. I don't know, dude, I'm old. But I'll link them somewhere. I'm sure you know where that will be. They're on Amazon. I think it was like 10 bucks for 200 of those. So a lot cheaper than having someone else print them. And you know what? If you want to pay someone to make them, I'm your guy. So thank you. Let me know if you have any questions. Until the next time.